thank you. Appreciate that very much.
No problem.
It's the first for the day.
All right.
All right, so, we're coming out of our open week. I think we had a really good week of practices and preparation. We were able to get a lot of young guys some reps, and we were able to work on the fundamentals and techniques that we're going to need for the rest of the season. And we were also able to get some guys rested up, as we get into this stretch in the month of November. So looking forward to getting back out on the field this week.
Larry, you mentioned the younger guys getting reps, a little more reps. Do you pretty much just rotate the ones and the twos, kind of invert them a little bit?
This past week we didn't know. We probably, especially early in the week, it was just significantly the twos and the threes, and anybody that was redshirt and we were getting the reps, basically. We really tried to rest some of the guys that have played quite a bit for us. We rested them early in the week.
How much did you spend on getting prepared for Georgia Tech in the triple option, or does that, does it need extra work?
Yeah, we got a few extra days on it. So, as planned, we knew we were going to, the early part of the week was going to be focused on us, and then the latter part of the week was focusing on Georgia Tech, and then, we got another practice in yesterday.
After being here now 5 years and playing them as a division rival every year, how much extra work does it take, or are you used to playing these guys that you kind of know the principles and the techniques that are involved?
Doesn't matter what I know, the players see it once a year, so it's like reintroducing it to them each and every year. Now we try to do things throughout the year to keep it fresh for them, but when it's something that's totally different. And that's one of the advantages that they have is that your kids never see it except for that 1 week, and so it's our guys have to do a great job of preparing.
When you say resting some of the ones, I guess the ones that have gotten the most snaps, what did they actually do last week?
They got some individual work and some fundamental work, and then after that was it.
No hitting for any of those guys?
Not really, no.
You've had an off week twice before games against Georgia Tech and lost those games, and then beat them twice after a normal week. Is there anything to that trend? Is that kind of strange to you? Does it kind of damage the myth that there's more preparation time?
I don't know if the more preparation time gives you an advantage or not. I know that it's going to be about taking care of the football and creating some turnovers, and the team that executes the best is going to win the football game. So, hopefully, I think the biggest thing for us this year going into this game was the much needed physical and mental rest that our guys needed.
Larry, when it came to the comeback down there last year, what did that do in terms of the entire football program moving forward?
Yeah, I would say it was probably, when you go back and talk about last year, if anybody asked me what was that one point that you knew that you had a chance, it was in, coming back from 21 down, in the first quarter, and getting it back to a ball game right before half and then finishing the game up. I think that said a lot about that football team last year and how much grit they had, and it pretty much propelled us, for the rest of the season, and obviously had something to do with where we are right now.
Last two games, Miami and Virginia, are 7 for 34 on third downs. Is there a point you go back in the season where you see the defense starting to get off the field more and more, where you kind of had an idea that this might happen?
Well, I will say that each and every week we were able to find some improvement in defensively, whether it was within a unit or in one aspect or another. We were able to find some of that, and you were able to see them growing. You guys may not, but we were able to see that because of the film, the film work we were able to do. And then I think they're playing with some confidence, and their confidence has grown over the last couple of weeks, and they're just playing much better football.
Is it beginning up front? Is that where the biggest difference has been?
No doubt.
And that just sort of cascades to the back of the defense?
No doubt.
Going back to Georgia Tech, when you have an off week like this before a game against those guys, is it you spend one entire practice that you wouldn't ordinarily on Georgia Tech, or how much time?
Well, actually, we probably spent 2 practices that we wouldn't have gotten, that we could have. It's like yesterday. Yesterday was a real practice instead of, a normal Sunday for us is really flushing all the lactic acid out of those guys and running them and just getting them moving around and introducing things to them. And it's strictly a mental thing after that. But we were actually, able to have a real practice yesterday.
Coach, can you speak about Justin Thomas and why he's so good at executing in that offense?
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy's so explosive. I mean, and he just proved last week, I think it was his career best, that he could beat you with his arm or his legs. And he's electric, when he's got the ball. I think I saw one, it was 3rd and 17, then they're backed up in their end zone, and he outflanks them and takes off and goes 50. And, I mean, he's just, he can make everything happen within their offense. I mean, it seems like he's been there forever.
Is John Heck back at practice yet?
He is.
Do you expect him to be full go?
I do. I do.
How much does that, I mean, obviously he's a senior, he's a guy who's been there and one of the best offensive linemen in this league, but how much does that help get this offense?
Well, it helps every time we get any of our guys back, because we've been, we've been so fluid up there with, who's on the field. And so it's been difficult to get some continuity. And so, every time we get a guy back, it helps us, And so I'm, again, more than anything coming out of last week is I'm hoping that we're fresher than we've been.
Larry Mitchell's starting to get some national attention. You see his stock rising, the draft stock, that kind of thing. I know you don't pay attention to that kind of thing, but when you have a kid receive that kind of attention, how do you like to handle that during the year?
During the season, we don't handle it. I mean, it's, I'm going to expect a kid to be mature enough to handle it just like he was when, after the Georgia game, nobody said he could play. So if he pays attention to that, then he's going to, so you didn't pay attention to it then, you don't pay attention to it now. And then we'll see what happens at the end of the season. We'll address it at that point. But, I think it's so important as a player that you don't get caught up. You start paying attention to all those things outside when you forget about what's getting you there each and every week. And that's really the only place your focus needs to be, is how you prepare each and every week and then how you play on that Saturday.
Have you emphasized that then? Have you guys had conversations?
We have. But that's not the first time I've had that conversation with him. I have a lot of conversations with a quarterback, so, I mean, throughout the entire year. So it's, he knows how I feel.
Do you take any satisfaction in seeing people say nice things about him? Does that mean anything to you at
I
all?
at the end of the year, I will. Right now, I'm just focused on Georgia Tech. I mean, I really don't pay a lot of attention to all of that. I mean, because all that matters is that we're in a position going into the month of November of reaching our goals. And so there's a lot of teams out there that don't have that opportunity. And we, because of all the hard work and all the preparation that these guys have put in since January, they're in a position right now where we can still reach all of our goals. And that's pretty good, especially when there's 14 practices left in our regular season, 14. And so you're there, you're right on that edge. And so all the focus has to be on our preparation each and every week and really worrying more about us than anybody else. Not much out of y'all today, huh? Happy Halloween to all you guys.
Do you have any big Halloween plans?
Anything for it?
When I get home, shutting off all the lights.
You don't hang out candy?
If my wife's not there, yes.
Kind of disappointed you didn't wear the old school coaching shorts today.
No, I did that on Thursday. I'm more serious now about what we're doing, but that was for the players, So, yeah. But if I had my druthers, I'd go home and shut off all the lights and not answer the door.
Did the staff did you guys, everybody have Saturday off, this whole staff just?
Yes, the
one
whole
full day
staff
off?
did, sure. Everybody was on the road recruiting on Friday, and then everybody was off on
I
Saturday.
know you said before when you had that day, you love to watch football. What did you
football
watch?
from, I got up, worked out, turned on game day, and turned it. I finished the last that Florida State Clemson game at 12, whatever it was. I watched every single thing I could watch.
Do you watch ACC or do you find yourself watching some of the?
Everything. I watched everything. Some of them I don't like them playing at the same time because you're flipping back and forth. But I watched as many games as I could possibly watch.
How big of a Pittsburgh fan were you last Thursday night?
I was pulling for them.
if it comes down to that, I mean, you know, losing a game like that in those conditions, you know.
Can't control what happened in the past, you know, it's all about this week. I mean, that's really where all our focus is. It won't be about, you know, what happened. It's about what are we gonna do, and we have to take care of our business. So the focus will be on Georgia Tech, and you know, we know how difficult a team they are to play and prepare for, and so we gotta do a great job.
Can you watch a game like a fan, or are you breaking it down like when you watch film?
A little bit of both. You know, most of the time, you know, what I do is I keep a pad of paper right next to me, and by the end of the night, I got all kind of things written down, just ideas that come up, things that I think that I can steal and implement, and things that you see that have worked, or things may have that came up, and you want to talk to your team about it so that you don't make the same mistake someone else made, you know, and I think that's pretty important, because you know, you can learn something in every game that's out there, you know, so, and how you manage it, time management, all the different things, so.
Is scouting a future opponent included in that list?
Now, you know what? You could, but I don't, because I know we're going to have it on film. I mean, so we're going to study it on film. I mean, it's hard to do that in a game, you know, because they don't ever run the replay when I want to run it. So,
Better question: do you turn the volume down, or do you listen to the analysts and
I
what they
listen
have to say?
it. I listen to it. Yeah, I listen to it.
How much do you agree with?
As far as jotting things down,
It's funny sometimes. It's funny.
Did you happen to jot down the name of an offensive lineman that you can run a running play to, a little sweep play to?
Oh, I'm sure I got a bunch of them in there that would like to do it, you know. But that was good. That was a good thought. All right.
Thank you.
It kind of reminded you of a little